Hey guys, welcome to the Afterhours podcast starring Damien Chinnery and Roman Wilden.
What's up, guys?
Hello, welcome back.
And today we're joined by three very special guests.
Very special.
May you introduce yourselves, starting with Jojo on the left?
Yeah, so I'm Jojo, or Johannes, and I'm an international student here at St. Mark's, and I'm from Germany.
Alright, cool.
Hi, I'm Anja. I'm also an international student, and I'm only here for one semester, and I'm from Switzerland.
And I'm Niccolò, same as them, I'm an international student, and I'm from Italy.
Alright, so
Sweet.
take
Nice.
it away, fellas.
So we pretty much assembled the UN here,
Yeah.
the EU. What are your thoughts on Brexit? Do you,
just straight in.
This is close to my heart.
are you gonna let him? Are you gonna give guys gonna
He's
give him
from
the
the
deal?
UK.
Alright, let's
Well,
go.
you know,
Can you go ahead?
Should we give him the deal?
Well,
Are we gonna allow them
I
to
think
Brexit?
Brexit should not go through. I mean, I'm torn because there's a whole idea about democracy and how you got to go through the vote because that's what the people voted. But I don't think it was a fair vote. I don't think the people were
same.
informed. I don't think that most of the people that did vote are the people that it's not really going to affect. The consequences aren't going to necessarily affect them. So yeah, I think it's a tough one. I don't think you should go through with it, but
Yeah, I don't really know too much about this topic, to be honest, but I think the people voted, and they voted pro-Brexit. So I think that's what the government should do, because we're still a democracy after all. Yeah, but like, if every member of the European Union just starts leaving, then that's going to be very critical.
well, it's still UK, so it's on the side.
Yeah, the UK,
It's always been like a little bit.
it is always
they always
on
were
the
like
side
part
of
that
its
had their
special.
own rules.
They don't have
kind of thing.
euros, so it's easier.
Yeah.
Like, imagine.
They have the monarchy and
Yeah.
it's a bit different.
But is Switzerland a part of it?
No,
There's
Switzerland,
no Switzerland.
Switzerland is actually not a part of the EU.
Switzerland is sort of a part of it. They're sort of the
Switzerland is in
economic
Europe.
barrier.
Then-
So
They,
they
European Union.
they
Yeah.
don't have any borders, but yet there's free travel.
Well, it's still actually.
There's
some
free
borders.
travel, there's
Yeah.
trade also.
Yeah.
They're just like not part of like obviously.
Because it's still in Europe, but not in European Union.
Obviously the currency is different. We have Swiss francs. France used to have francs before it had the euro, and Switzerland kind of followed on from that with Swiss francs. And in terms of there's trade agreements, but they kind of are separate. They also the Swiss government and the way that the country is governed is a very particular system, with seven bodies of power. There's 7 entities instead of one president. There's 7
it's
representatives
split
that each have a department of the country. Like one has justice, one has travel and schooling, and it's all divided. And it's a very it's a very, very good system, and it's very democratic system, and the people's voice and the people's vote is a big part of that. And instead of having one president or one entity of power, there's one of those 7 people that's elected every 2 or 4 years. This is bad. I can't remember from my law lessons, but anyway, one of those 7 people that's chosen to represent Switzerland abroad, so is technically the president, but they don't have any more power than any of the others. So yeah, it's a very fair system.
Yeah, like splitting 4. You have the French part, the Italian
Yeah,
part.
and then obviously there's the distinction with the languages,
Yeah.
and in each region, there are politicians that represent for each region, and inside those regions, then it's split into towns, and there's just a lot of details.
What
to
are your
make sure.
thoughts on the theory that the EU is the modern day Roman Empire? What are your thoughts on that?
Your
Well,
thoughts
Is
on
that true?
If you think about it,
Well, the Roman Empire was kind of built on conquest.
are you guys
Yeah,
true.
yay or nay for the Roman Empire?
Well, I'm Italian, so. You
So
know.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
You say it, I think.
Yeah, like I'm with the Roman Empire.
Yeah, but that means
Still,
empire.
but-
Empire means emperor, and that's never a good thing when there's one person. who
Yeah,
has
but
that
you know,
much
it's
power.
Turned out
lot of-
alright.
Well, no, it
Oh,
didn't.
did
Look
it?
where we are today. It didn't.
Oh, well, they didn't last, but at the height, I mean, it was.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
agreed.
You know,
There
we
was
got
still
some
quite a bit of
aqueducts.
tolerance in that.
Yeah,
Yeah, they were powerful, but you have to look at the people that were living in that empire.
yeah.
Did they have a bad
And it was
life?
pretty corrupt as
They
well.
actually did.
Yeah.
According to studies, a person before the Roman Empire reached its height would live and die as their profession that they were given from their father. But
Yeah.
during the Roman Empire, a man went from a small pig farm to the time of his death was given a shrine that was bigger than a temple. So
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. It was actually.
there was opportunity for economic, movement.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. And they were like, I studied Latin back at home, and we studied like the whole.
Can you speak Latin?
I can read it and I can translate it, but I can't speak it. Well, I can I've got.
How
a
is
book.
it? How does it?
Translate.
Is it more complex than English or?
Oh yeah, much.
Absolutely.
So much more complicated. It's because in English, the Latin-based languages have cases and declensions, and so, like,
Italian.
just like in Italian, like
Italian
the word.
is probably the most similar language.
Yeah,
to Latin.
definitely. You have a word, and you learn. So you learn the way it works. You learn lists of vocabulary, and you acquire all that vocabulary. And then you have verbs as well, and you have different groups of verbs that are conjugated in different ways. And and you have, when you learn one word, for example, flower. Flower will not be written the same way if it's the subject, if it's the object of the sentence, if it's I don't know how to say it in English because I'm not fantastic in
it's
English
like
grammar and the terms,
different
but
things
Like confusing.
All
it's
nouns as are
yeah,
male, female.
in short, it's much more complicated. It's much complicated.
All right. Do you want to say a question?
Um,
I've got a few.
Alright, yeah, let's get some questions up.
Don't do the third or fourth one.
Alright,
Do probably the first or second.
first, alright.
Probably the second.
Alright, is there going to be anything that you're going to take away back to Germany, back to Switzerland, back to Italy, that you took away from here in Australia?
Like not physically, but like
Not physically,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
just to be clear.
Yeah.
Alright.
Maybe the meaning of mateship has been instilled.
The friendships, the culture,
mateship, yeah.
I think
The Anzac.
the customs.
I mean, obviously, learning a different culture and learning about
Yeah.
like Anzac.
Yeah.
Like we were here for Anzac
It was
Day,
very
and,
interesting.
Okay.
and learning about obviously the Aboriginal culture as well. That's
Yeah.
like really enriching and stuff.
Okay, how would each and every one of you rate our culture out of 10?
Your
Do you really
culture.
want to hear that?
From you-
Compared to your guys' culture from where you
Oh,
came.
okay, Switzerland. Okay,
Yeah.
these guys will have something to say. I will say that I come from Switzerland,
Yeah.
and that's a very multicultural. Well, I'm not going to say it's equal opportunities and stuff because that's negotiable, but
Yeah.
it's a very multicultural place in the sense that I would say there's not much cultural identity, at least where I live in Switzerland, which is in Geneva, which is a city. And in Geneva, it's full of international corporations and businesses and banks.
Is that the
and
French-speaking part?
yeah,
Okay,
and but this is like same in Zurich. It's the same thing. There are so many huge companies, and it's
Yeah.
all expats, all a lot of American workers that come over to live because great salaries.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you live on a Swiss salary, and then you send money, and then when you go back to the US, that's suits the lifestyle.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, but
That's so interesting. I've never seen it heard that way.
No,
'Cause
no, definitely.
multiculturalism has always been seen as like a really big
oh,
positive.
it can be seen as a really
But
good
on
thing.
the other hand, it's hard
what
to
it
see
is,
myself
but then,
as
like,
Swiss.
then I have a like this is kind of like when people ask me like what's your your identity, what would you identify as,
Yeah.
I always have difficulty to say I'm Swiss because that like kind of it seems empty to me, like being
Yeah.
Swiss is just like there's nothing to it, there's no like I don't identify to that kind of culture.
Yeah.
And so, my mum's from the UK, so I kind of like say, I feel a bit English, because
Yeah.
then I talk to English people,
Yeah.
and like the Anglo-Saxon culture, and I kind of more identify to that. But then I'm not really, because I know that in a way, Switzerland I'm born and raised there, so it has had an impact. So if I were to say anything that I would bring back, it would, like the thing that I notice is how open-minded and friendly Australians are. At least,
obviously.
Yeah, it is true.
You have a
are
really-
like very old.
Europeans are like not
Really
as
tolerant
cool as you guys.
society here.
Definitely.
But how would you rate?
How would
your
I
culture?
rate your culture? Okay, this is not compared to mine. It's just that I know that like the Italian culture and the
Yeah.
Spanish culture and German culture. I'm not such an expert on that, but I'd say out of 10, it's gonna be one of those controversy. I'd say a 6 or a 7.
Okay, so
I mean,
6
like,
or a 7.
to be honest, we don't have much of a culture.
I do agree. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say around a
We've
7.
got
Well-
boomerangs.
We got boomerang.
I mean,
Yeah,
we
but
got-
like,
we got-
we
yeah,
got
but
boomerangs,
if you look at
kangaroos.
Count the
if
boomerangs.
you like, I've learned
Imagine
a lot
throwing
here.
a weapon and it comes back.
Yeah,
How
that's
incredible!
pretty
You could
genius.
hit like a cockatoo.
I thought it only comes back if you don't hit anything. So you
Oh,
get
true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is
yeah.
true.
Only
Only if you don't hit them.
No, but like everything that I've learned here about the outback and the Aboriginal culture and
Yeah.
everything. I think that's pretty. It's really interesting, and
Yeah.
there's nothing like that in Switzerland. Like we have farmers in the mountains, and great mountains, and it's stunning and beautiful and everything. But I don't live in the mountains. I'm not a woman who skis every day to school and stuff, and I don't have cows in my back garden and milk my cows,
and
so that's
luxury watches as well.
exactly. So I can't I don't know. What would you say?
Yeah, like if we're talking about Aussie culture, we're talking about like Aboriginal culture. as well.
We'll include that.
well.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that's part of it. Yeah.
Including that, I'd give it like a solid 7 or even 8.
Yeah.
But if we only talk about this barbecue culture,
Footy.
like footy, big
Yeah.
4-wheel drive, I give it like a solid 4 maybe.
Oh,
That's
really?
like-
You don't like that?
Nah, I don't like that really. It's
Nice.
just,
Well,
culture.
like
Yeah.
Australian culture is really young.
yeah,
if
it's
you
like
think
It is.
about
It
yeah.
is.
It's just
Yeah.
over like
it's just not a lot of
150
history.
years,
Yeah, that's very
maybe
true.
200. We have cultures in Europe.
What about Italian culture?
Thousand
then?
years.
That's the same as
Quite-
that's the same as
You know, it's
Switzerland
like-
is young.
Same as Germany, we have a really deep culture, like
Yeah.
really old.
Roman
Also,
Empire.
yeah,
Mhm.
you can say that as well, like from the old times of Roman Empire and to the
You've got
modern day.
sculptures and the Colosseum and like
Yeah,
all that
yeah.
stuff- all
Gladiators.
that
Like
stuff.
believing cities
all that
as
stuff was real, like that happened. So
like,
yeah.
for example, Rome.
Really? Yeah.
The Colosseum is like thousands of years old. Like imagine
It's
that.
pretty cool.
Imagine a city like with a Colosseum 2,000 years old.
I've been to the Colosseum.
Yeah.
Colosseum's awesome.
Why'd you guys rip off all the marble? Too many people have taken stuff from
Oh,
it.
yeah.
What have you done,
Yeah,
Nicola?
Nick,
No,
what
it's
have you
2,000
done?
years
Yeah,
old.
Nick, what have you
cool.
done?
You know, it's 2,000 years
I
old.
thought
I
I
don't
was-
even live in Rome, so
There's not even a floor anymore.
Mm.
What have you guys done? You're gonna redo it, the whole thing.
You've got to
sure.
Yeah.
break that culture.
Like a
Just
renovation.
renovate
Yeah,
the
as
whole
I said,
thing.
your culture, I would give it like a 7. Yeah,
That's
Oh,
alright.
cool. That's pretty good.
it's fine. I like it. You're cool guys.
It's also nice, I guess. I mean, we don't know what it's like to live in it, I suppose.
'Cause you haven't
We've
been
like,
there that long.
yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, and
Oh,
also
you've been like a year.
yeah, but
almost a year.
you will be like, in a year, you're not at the end of that year, you're still treated as a foreign student,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and like
Yeah.
you're still kind of,
Well,
you know,
still, yeah.
and we still feel that way, and obviously we don't identify over here as home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, it's
Which
still
is why,
different experience.
you know, we can rate it, but like I'm sure that living here we'd rate
like
it
actually
differently.
being here for years.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
5 to 10 years
Being a citizen
would be a
is
different thing.
different perspective.
Are you guys pretty smart? Like, are Europeans in general just smarter than Australians? Because you guys can
I
like,
wouldn't say that.
you can speak like multiple languages,
Okay.
play multiple
Yeah.
instruments.
Well, you have to see we are only here because we
Of the
can
language.
speak
Yeah.
multiple languages. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
So
like the ones that would come here and like study abroad would always be like the ones
Yeah.
who are good at languages or like a bit smarter in like from an academic standpoint.
yeah, I guess
So
that's a fair point. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can't say that the average European is smarter than the average Australian.
Because you know, like we tend to learn a lot of different languages. Because mainly, for my example, like in Italian, we speak Italian in Italy, of course.
Yeah.
Italian is not a really popular language, so you speak Italian just in Italy. If you want to maybe travel around or
Yeah.
work in another country, you need to speak another language. So
Yeah.
it's like a thing you need to do.
And
Okay. Fair enough.
I'd say that it's always a bit biased because obviously you see the foreign students, like Jojo said, you're seeing the foreign students that have
Oh,
chosen
yeah.
to come here, and you know,
Yeah.
we kind of we're not very representative of what students are like in Europe. As in,
No.
we are a representation, but you know, this
So
is
what
the
are
thing.
they like then?
No, this is the yeah. So you get the ones that are kind of, you know, curious and want to
Yeah.
come and meet
Yeah.
people, and
Yeah.
if you're gonna not survive, but if you're gonna make the most out of this kind of experience, you know, we've had to kind of like be open people and be ready to
Yeah.
So
meet
yeah,
new people and
Yeah.
come
not
and
everyone is like us.
exactly. And then a couple of girls asked me what just what you asked,
Yeah.
what people are like for me back at home, what my friends are like and what school's like. And like I said to you, the first thing I noticed is the people, and I said that if an Australian student came to my school in Geneva,
Mm.
I think it would be a very different experience for them. At
Yeah,
least
I'd
because
say
I
the same
don't
thing.
feel like, we are as welcoming as, no, seriously,
really?
as you guys. No, really.
Yeah, probably.
We're
the same for me.
much more kind of, you stick to your own thing. You're not like less involved with groups
Yeah.
and other people,
Yeah.
and you just come to school, you do your thing, and
Yeah, I
kind
know
of
what you
leave. And there are groups, like friendship groups. Obviously, everybody has kind of like
Yeah.
a couple of friends and
Mhm.
stuff, but it's much less dynamics of a whole year group. Like here, you have they concentrate so much on like making you do things as a group. You have forms.
Yeah, so
And
yeah,
like
we
you
have
guys,
the stuff, that's
you
right.
guys
Like,
take this for granted because obviously you don't like.
first time I got here, I said, what
Yeah,
is this?
we don't
Oh.
have houses. We don't have forms. We don't have like
Oh, you
You
anything
don't
like
have
that.
Anything like that.
You
no.
come to school, you're a student. You don't come to see your friends really. You come to your
Yeah.
class. You do have friends there, but then
Yeah.
you kind of
You
like
do your work and then you go home.
it's a much
That's it,
it's a
basically.
much more
Yeah.
kind of professional environment, I'd say.
Oh, okay.
And it's like
And also like,
it affects the people as well. It affects how your life as a student as well.
Yeah.
And so yeah. So I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
your
fine.
question was like, are we smart and stuff? I'd say
Yeah.
maybe we're a bit more open-minded than
Okay.
the average.
Yeah. That's,
Australian.
Australian.
Oh, and then it's compared to
Student.
Australians. No, I don't know about
Oh.
that though. I was
Maybe-
going to say
maybe
compared to
students
the
in general.
I was
students.
going to say that as well, yeah.
About compared to Australians, I don't think we're necessarily. If you go on the basis of languages, we maybe have more languages because,
Yeah.
like Nick said, we have to learn them.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say that we're smarter than you guys.
Oh.
Hey, you just looked at me.
No, no.
No?
You're gonna jump in with
No,
facts
no,
and
no.
Right, there you
statistics.
go.
Hold on.
Oh, we got some
We
stats
brought
here.
up the
Okay, according to
The
Brain
statistics.
Stats, the benchmark of IQ test, number one world ranking of countries by their average IQ is Hong Kong and Singapore with 108. And then Italy is at 5th with
There you
102.
go.
And then at 6 is Switzerland with 101. And
Germany.
Germany's way down the line.
Eight.
Sorry,
I
Germany.
know.
Germany's 8,
eighth at
Oh!
99.
Oh!
and then
Yeah,
we're
we're all-
Australia 9.
98.
Australia's
So-
98.
I don't. I don't think there's
Yeah.
that much in it. To be
No,
honest,
yeah.
I wouldn't say it's
Yeah.
like huge.
But that's also the
Maybe it
thing,
is.
like, because of your passports, you can just go into other countries to start working right.
Mm.
I always had this idea that you could, if you're living in Switzerland, you could just take a weekend off, a long weekend, and just go down to Paris.
That's what I do. That's
Yeah.
what. That's
Well,
what
you
we
know,
do.
Europe
That's what
is
we
like
do.
a big country and you can travel all
Obviously,
the way around.
okay. I just said
without-
that's what I do, but money's money, so
Every
that
weekend.
things. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
no,
but
it's
you
obviously not
could do
true.
But
it.
if you
if
have
you
a
had
car,
money,
which
Oh,
I'm-
you
definitely.
can travel all the way around Europe.
My
There are no
like
borders, anything.
this Monday, so 2 days ago, was a public holiday, Pentecost in
Mhm.
in
Oh, yeah.
Europe,
Mhm.
and my mum was down in the south of France. She took the car and she just drove down there. So it's kind of that
It's a
easy.
very
If you
common
have
thing to
time
do.
and you have
Yeah,
money,
same.
obviously, you now have to have the money to
So,
be able to do that.
because what we have here is that it's sort of like a. At the end, when school ends, a couple of people will get into a car and they'll do a drive around Australia thing.
Yeah.
You guys have that, but it's a
We
go
have
around the
a
whole of
Well, you know,
Interrail, you know that?
from Amsterdam to Russia.
you might have
Interrail.
all of this around
Interrail.
Europe. Like 2 years ago, I
Train
had
ticket,
all
yeah.
of
Yeah,
all
the
way
train
around
ticket.
Yeah,
Europe.
we have the same, but you would more like do it on a train maybe with
Oh,
a
cool,
thing
yeah.
called the
Yeah, and you can
Interrail.
do
train
like cars
ticket.
thing, whatever you want.
I don't know how exactly it works, but you can
You buy a
like,
ticket basically, and you have a certain
Yeah.
number of stops, and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
like it lasts you a
different
month,
countries.
and you can just take this ticket. You have to plan it out a certain amount, I think, because some destinations are more costly than others. Like
Yeah,
you buy a
surely.
flexi ticket or something like that. But you take it with a bunch of friends, and the friends maybe want to do a different route, so you take these. It's not a special train. You just have this ticket that allows you to board these local trains, like a certain trains, and then you can just go like basically anywhere and do a trip. And obviously that comes at a cost, because then you've got like the hotels and
And
sleeping
everything.
arrangements and food and everything. But a lot of people do save up for that at the end of school.
and just go
It's
like
really
around
good.
all of Europe.
Yeah, and it's not far. Like Europe is, I don't
It
know.
is-
I mean, if you
yeah,
look
like
at
everything
Australia,
is
there's no map.
very close to each other, which is
Yeah.
very handy.
Yeah, you can travel.
Everything.
pretty much
Yeah.
Unlike
everywhere.
Australia.
I mean, if you look at Central Europe, then that's the size of Australia. So it's
That's
like
one
just
thing
right
I'm
around.
definitely.
Think
I
of
think
Germany.
we're-
Like,
people in Perth especially are very
So
jealous of.
isolated. Just
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, because
you can go down south to the forest, and then past that, there's nothing. There's Albany, and then that's nothing.
Yeah.
I mean,
go up north
you know
to
people
like
maybe.
the
Geraldton.
reefs and yeah.
Shark Bay, which has like it looks
It
cool
looks okay.
for like a day or two, but after that, there's
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
And then don't even worry about going inland. It's just a big desert. So
That's why also though when you said, you asked us a question about culture, it's when in Europe for us, we're next to so many different cultures as
Yes,
well.
yeah.
So not necessarily only our own, but you realize how an area, how different cultures can be, and how Europe is very rich in culture just because of its diversity, maybe. And
so maybe you guys at school are just a bit less impressed by hearing someone from Germany, but someone like us in Perth are,
Well, yeah.
just awestruck by someone from Italy, Switzerland, or Germany, or anywhere.
Yeah, I suppose so. Because at school, like I told you, that multiculturalism in Geneva is huge. I can count on one hand the number of Swiss friends that I have, because everybody's from a different country. Yeah, really. Like so many of my friends are Italian, Spanish, Portuguese, because their parents came up for work or have gone, married a Swiss person or something like that. I've got quite a few English friends. I've got a few American friends. I've got a couple of Asian friends. I've got two half Australian friends too. I mean, it's just like, it's a very big list of different cultures that all find themselves together.
Cool.
So you end up being this mishmash of different things.
Yeah, I think it's like a little bit different in Italy. You have more Italians, actually, like in school.
Yeah.
I don't really know a lot of international students in my school. I think it's just Italians. But yeah.
What about in Germany?
Yeah, so it's I think that there's a bit of a difference between Switzerland and Germany. I could actually count the number of non-German friends on one hand,
Okay.
which doesn't mean that we don't have a lot of non-Germans in our country. We do, but they're like mostly migrants, and they didn't come to the country like people come to Switzerland to like work and to get a higher salary, but they are refugees.
Yeah.
Like escaping from wars.
Yeah, so they wouldn't necessarily go
Things like
to
that.
school with me
Yeah.
and like be my
And also,
friends.
like, who wants to learn Italian?
Yeah.
Like a
Yeah.
useless language for like work or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's mainly I
Yeah,
think one of the points why we don't have a lot of international students.
that's true. I think we just have it because
Yeah.
it's
I
a
mean,
hub.
yes,
Geneva's
Maybe for French is different.
Geneva's an
still.
international hub. They're
Yeah.
they're the children basically. The parents came
Yeah,
for
but
the
still
work and
French.
stuff.
They speak French. I don't know, in Canada,
Yeah.
some other countries, Italian just poking in Italy.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
So
Yeah, that's true.
I've never heard of any international student coming to a German high school.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, because it's like, what would you learn German for?
Yeah,
Like,
same as Italian.
Like
I've
speak
got-
German in Germany, Austria, and
Yeah,
parts of
that's not true
Switzerland.
though,
That's
because
it.
I've got 5 friends back at home who have done the same thing as me,
Yeah.
but they've gone to Germany. But most of them have gone to Berlin, or I've got one girl that's gone to Cologne.
What?
Cologne.
Köln.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cologne.
Cologne. Okay,
Cologne.
she's gone there.
Yeah.
So no, that is true. But
Yeah,
I
it's
think she
weird.
only goes there because we're in Switzerland, and Switzerland also speaks German,
Yeah,
so we're
exactly,
expected to
like-
learn it.
If you
Yeah.
come like from the US or from here, you
Yeah.
would never think about going to Germany, like learning German.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Pointless.
So
French is probably more
French
prevalent.
Yeah.
is more useful than German.
Is it true more people outside of France speak French than France itself?
Yeah, I know, like
Is
I have
that true?
absolutely
a
no
lot
idea.
of, I think a lot of us like African countries.
Yeah,
Speak
because they speak
French as
French.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Canada speaks French.
Cameroon.
Yeah.
But it's just
Congo.
It's like a section of Canada.
Yeah,
Not the
you
entire
know.
thing.
No,
I
Quebec.
know.
Quebec
Yeah.
speaks. Yeah.
But still, looks like same as Spanish.
What's the population
just
of
Spain.
Quebec? Yeah,
That's
Spain's pretty big.
Yeah.
That's
it's
like the entirety of South America,
all the-
excluding
yeah.
majority of Brazil who speak
Yeah,
Portuguese.
imagine that.
Yeah.
Some
There's a lot of
African
people.
nations too.
Yeah, would speak out their own dialects or whatnot.
And then there's German.
Yeah, they'll speak Italian. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Not alone.
German's
Back in the
pretty-
day, more people would have spoken it. but-
No, it's because we lost all of our colonies after World War One,
Yeah,
which is basically the reason why there are no more German-speaking countries out there.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, we don't have.
it's just how
Should
it
we do
is.
another question?
Alright, that's good.
Do we want to do another? Should we do another legit question? Or?
Yeah, I reckon
Yeah.
one more legit question.
We can't
I
answer.
can't
that
read your
one.
handwriting. So.
Okay. No, I
yeah,
can
you
read
can
it as
read
well.
it.
I have it in front of me.
so you-
Alright, this one seems pretty cool.
Alright.
Okay, so this is sort of like a little bit of a game, because have any of us been to the nations in front of us?
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
Which one have you been?
I've been to all of them.
You've been to all of them?
Yeah.
Okay, you're excluded from this game. I've only been to Italy, but that was just Rome. Alright. So let's say you have 48 hours.
Yes.
And you have to take Damien and I to each one of your countries. But it has to be the correct balance of touristy things. So, for instance, the Colosseum is a must, or, Berlin and whatnot. I don't.
The mountains.
Don't worry. I'll come up with something.
But also you have to have that cool stuff that only a German or a Swiss or Italian person would know. So, does anyone want to start off? 48 hours remind you, so it has to be, and this is hypothetical, so make it a nice hotel, please. Maybe a nice dinner. We could have some cheeses.
Yeah, no.
Some nice wine.
Some nice wine, Italian pizza maybe.
So I would only take you to my country.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not to all.
No, that's the game. So it's your nation.
Okay.
48 hours.
So when many people think of Germany, they think of this stereotypical lederhosen, sausages, beer, and that is honestly more Bavaria.
That's the eastern side.
No, that's the most
South.
southern state of Germany. So I would definitely take you there.
Cool.
That's where I live.
Would we go during Oktoberfest?
We could definitely go during Oktoberfest, although that's a very touristy thing.
Okay.
So you would meet a lot of other Aussies or other nationalities there.
Yeah.
So I could take you to some more local, much smaller beer festivals.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Where you would just not have tourists, and I could show you everything, and I could explain everything to you. Then I definitely take you for a short mountain trip as well, because the German mountains, or even Austrian as well, are just very, very beautiful. And then I guess Berlin is kind of a place you just have to go to when you're in Germany, just because there's a lot of history. You have the Berlin Wall and everything, and that's an interesting place to go. Just for the history, it's a good place to go partying as well. It's a very alternative scene, so Berlin could be a bit weird.
What do you mean by alternative?
Yeah, people in Berlin. Yeah, it's hard to describe. It's just Berlin is a weird city. I'll just put it like that.
Okay.
Sweet. But it's a nice city. But my favorite part of Germany, and I think the part of Germany, or the Germany everybody thinks of when they speak of Germany, is Bavaria. So I would definitely take you there and to Berlin.
For me, it's a really difficult thing to do because Italy is so much different from north to south. You could be there for a month and still do different things.
We only have 2 days.
Yeah, you only have 48 hours.
2 days.
Choose the best,
2
in your
days.
opinion.
So surely I'll take you to Venice because it's where I'm from. I know the city. I know what to do. I could take you around with my boat.
Oh
See
yeah,
all cool
because
stuff and all of that. So that would be surely a thing to do. And then maybe to Rome, probably. I think it's the city with most history and things to see. It's a really big city. It's the capital,
yeah.
of course, of Italy. You see Colosseum and the origins of the Roman Empire.
Would we go to the Vatican?
Yeah, it's a really if you're in Rome, you need to visit the Vatican. So one day maybe in Venice.
Are we going to pray though?
You're free to whatever you want.
Are you going to, Damien?
I mean, sure.
Shake. Are you meant to do that?
Yeah, there's a golden statue.
Maybe
Oh wait,
I'll
no,
say-
that's something else. I think kiss your hand and touch the foot of Jesus or something.
What?
I don't know.
I'm not quite sure. I wouldn't quote
Whatever.
that. I'm not quite
I'll
sure.
Google it.
Don't. Yeah.
But yeah, I would say maybe one day in Venice and one day in Rome.
Sweet.
Yeah.
What
Like-
about the food though?
What are we eating?
Oh yeah, we're in Italy. This is
Oh.
important.
This is yeah.
Dude, you could eat whatever you want.
Mm.
Pasta, pizza. In Rome, I know a few really good restaurants for pasta and pizza.
Okay, how about we do it breakfast, lunch, dinner?
Right, then we're getting down to the
To get
specifics
the
then.
most amount of culture,
So I would say we don't really have breakfast in the morning.
You don't?
Breakfast, breakfast not really a thing.
I'm
that
not
we
much
do.
of a breakfast man myself, I'll
We,
be
we
honest.
do,
This is okay.
maybe we have milk and biscuits. That's all we have for breakfast.
I like that, it sounds nice.
I can get used to that. Yeah.
For lunch, I think you should get a good pasta. Something
What
like
kind
that.
of pasta?
A really
There's
good
so
pasta.
many different variations.
Classic bolognese or a carbonara
dude.
or a variation
So many
of carbonara.
different-
Or
I'm
Really
vegetarian.
good
Can you give
pasta.
a veggie option, please?
just butter
There's a
and
place
cheese.
that I go usually in Rome, and they make 50, 60 different types of pasta just with spaghetti. Just with that.
Just spaghetti?
'Cause then you have all the different types
50,
of-
50, 60 different types of pasta sauces that you can put in, and they're all
Wow.
really good. And for dinner, maybe I would say like a good pizza with buffalo mozzarella on it. It's like a different thing to try that you don't have here. Yeah, that's what I would do.
Can we go back to the German one because we forgot to do food,
Okay.
Yeah.
and then we'll do all of the Swiss. Okay. Breakfast, lunch, dinner.
Yeah, so if you want to have a very typical German day regarding food, you would start off with having a late breakfast,
Okay.
usually between 10 and 12.
That's pretty late.
That is a late breakfast, yeah. And that's called Weißwurstfrühstück, and which
Okay.
is basically white sausages that you boil in water.
What's the meat made of? Just chicken or?
Oh, no,
Veal.
pork.
Pork, okay, okay.
always
The
pork.
The sausage.
Yeah,
thing.
I was
Sausages.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
confused.
Chicken sausages aren't a thing in.
No,
Are they?
no,
Nah,
no,
really not.
not a thing.
Never
pork
heard of
sausages.
chicken sausage.
They are here.
Mainly
I'm
beef
good
and
at
pork.
those.
Mainly pork.
Don't try them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
only pork.
sausages are mainly made out of pork.
Alright.
Yeah.
Anyway, you'd have
Yeah.
these white boiled sausages,
Mhm.
and then you would have a pretzel
Pretzel.
with it.
Ooh.
But
So
like,
good.
but we are talking about the real pretzels here.
Not your things that
not
you get
the
at
ones
Whitford's. That's
you can
not
get
the
at
same
the
thing.
sweet ones.
Whitford's.
No, it's
They
not the
are
same thing.
always savory, never sweet.
Yeah.
Have salt
So you would
on
have
it.
that,
So
yeah,
crystals
and
on it.
there's a lot of salt on these pretzels, and with some sweet mustard to the sausages.
Whoa.
That'd be the breakfast, and many people just skip lunch then.
Okay.
Like you can have a small snack for lunch or whatever, and then you'd have like a big dinner. You could go for a schnitzel or like just a good pork roast with a lot of gravy on it, and like a thing called knödel. I don't know if you know what that is.
No. So,
Yeah, and it's a bit
Potato.
it's a
I
bit
I
hard
wouldn't know how to
hard
explain
to
that. Yeah.
describe. It's like these
Like
round potato balls. It's not really mashed. It's like more like, yeah. Could you look that up?
How do you spell
It's
it?
like a KNODEL, and it's just
it's kind of like a hash brown, but like
Canoodle.
a ball.
Yeah, usually have
Yeah, it's
it.
fried.
Yeah,
It can
sort
be
of.
fried.
Yeah, but
Yeah, it can be
it's
fried,
not
it can
fried.
be
no,
stock.
It can be.
Knödel
fried.
is not fried.
Yeah, but you can.
You're talking to a German, okay?
Yes.
Knödel is not
You usually
fried.
have it with like
Is
stock,
it
right?
this thing?
Nah. Anyway.
See,
That's
that's
what
what I'm thinking of. They're like golden. Okay, I'm
Okay.
gonna shut up.
But
because
no,
you're
that's
looking
not
at
what I'm
me.
doing.
Look at me.
Anyway.
guys.
Yeah, so you
Yeah.
could have that, or you could have kraut as well. Kraut, like
Is that
do you know what that is?
cabbage?
I've heard of sauerkraut.
Yeah.
Sauerkraut.
Yeah, it's like a form of cabbage. Yes,
Yes.
sauerkraut. Yeah,
Okay.
that is basically the most typical German dinner or like lunch you could have. So you would have first sausages and then like a good pork roast or a schnitzel as well for dinner.
Yeah.
And you of course would always have a beer with the meal. You'd have
Yeah.
a like wheat beer in the morning with your sausages, and
Yeah,
then
same.
like a big liter mug.
Locally sourced, of course.
Yes, you can do as well, whatever you prefer.
All right.
wait.
Let's do the
Yeah.
Swiss now.
Is this it?
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Which one is it? There's like a.
Oh,
it can be
depends.
this
Yeah, you
one,
can get
that one.
different
Can be a lot
kinds.
of different things. Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
it the one that Mouse is over?
That is the pork roast I was talking about. Yeah.
People at home can't really see this right now.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah. Anyway.
That's to describe. Anyway.
Okay.
Switzerland.
All
48
right.
hours.
All right. Okay. Wait. I'll start off with the food because that's like
Okay.
we're hot on the topic.
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
I'd say breakfast. It's more of a sweet breakfast, I'd say, in Switzerland. I have muesli. A lot of Birsche muesli is make it with like yogurt and oats and fruit,
Oh yeah. Okay.
and they put it in a Tupperware and they leave it overnight. And I know that like my friend's mom, they're like a family of 6 or something. She would make huge bowls of it, like a big punch bowl, and she'd make absolutely loads of it, and they'd keep it, and they'd always have some in the fridge. So that's a pretty typical breakfast, or like toast, or something pretty continental. It's not very typical. And for lunch, I'd say at some point in the day you'd have to have a cheese fondue, which is a big, basically a pot of melted cheese with like little it's really great. If you've never tried it, the concept is great if you love cheese. I hate cheese, but the concept, I hate cheese. I know I'm just like the worst Swiss to talk to for this kind of thing. They do have chocolate fondues as well, same concept,
Yeah.
but you have like these little cubes of, you have a loaf of bread that you cut into little cubes, and you can also use, and you have these special forks, so they're like the size of half my arm, and they're like very, very thin, and they've wooden handle, and then they've got a tiny little fork piece on the end. that you put the bread on, and then you just like dip it in and you twist it. And then at the end of the fondue, normally you have one pot for 2 or 4, depends like the size. And at the end, like the cheese kind of goes hard on the bottom because it like crusts on the bottom. And then you take it off, because obviously you have to hold this pot on a grid with a flame underneath to keep it keep it melted.
Can you do that like also with oil and fry like
You can,
meat
yeah.
inside?
Then they went on a different one, which is like Chinese fondue, because they do that in Asia as well. But they took the concept to Europe, and then they basically put oil in the pan, same kind of
fry
thing.
like meat inside,
And you take
or whatever
meat.
you want.
Yeah, we do that every now and then.
Yeah. So that's like the cheese one is more like typical Swiss.
More Swiss.
But that's also very, something that you eat in the mountains. You don't have that on your typical Swiss restaurant by the side of the lake in Geneva. Will not be serving a fondue because it's heavy and it smells so much. I mean, obviously you can imagine the fondue restaurants. They specialize in that because honestly, the taste of any other food is kind of overpowered by cheese. So I mean, if you go to the mountains and you find a nice fondue restaurant that does meats and stuff as well, that's nice. But yeah, I'd say in Geneva, your typical restaurant is probably mostly Italian based or French food based, so cuisine or something like that. But I would say fish from our lake. If we were going to go, so we're going to go on our trip in Geneva. First day we spend in Geneva because it's my home and I'd have to show you that. We have the UN, so I take you to the UN.
Sweet.
And that's a pretty cool thing to visit. That's the only thing. I mean, it's not like
Wait,
very.
what do you mean the UN? Just
United Nations.
Like the
United
UN building.
Oh, when
where
they
they-
meet?
You visit. You can go inside the United Nations building.
Is that where
Not-
they meet?
Can you watch them meet and talk?
You
about
cannot
stuff?
watch them meet and
Can I
talk, but you
represent
can
my
actually.
nation?
Yeah, actually, I think you can see where they do it. You cannot assist to
Okay.
one,
Oh yeah.
but
Yeah.
Can I shake hands with the
go
Australian?
figure kind of thing. No, I'm not. Okay, don't quote me on that. But I know that you can go. I mean,
Surely you could go in. and
yeah,
look at
you
it,
can go into the building. I'm not sure if it's the actual building where the world leaders
I
do
think they
actually
have
meet.
multiple. But yeah.
They have definitely different buildings, but I know there is one where you've got all the flags of all the nations,
Ooh.
and you've got the signed documents in glass, things. We visited it with school because everybody kind of visits it from Geneva. It's just a staple thing to do,
That'd be cool.
It would be.
But
That'd be groovy.
so I'd say that's one thing to do. I'd take you to a chocolate factory as well because there are so many of them, and that's one thing that every Swiss kid has done with school, and that's what something that
Do they hand out like free chocolates?
Yeah, they do. You
Oh,
can
it's
taste them.
free.
You can and you can help them do the machine as well. It's only the cool ones though, right? Because
Okay.
obviously, like
Yep.
the big mass production ones don't let you do that. But yeah, they
You'd
give
of course go to the cool
freebies
one,
at the end. That's great. And I'd say if you spend half the day in Geneva, I'd show you around the lake because it's got a beautiful lake. It's very different to the ocean that you've got. No, don't. The lake is beautiful. You're just jealous.
Emma.
Have you been to the lake, Jojo?
Yeah,
I'm
of
not
course.
jealous at all.
Yeah, we don't know what he's talking about. But then I'd say for the evening, I'd take you to Zurich. I would think we'd get on a train and we'd go to Zurich because obviously, we said that money's not an option, right? Because taking the train costs quite a lot, but that's fine. We go to Zurich because Zurich has a much more vibrant nightlife, and I think it's a much more dynamic city in terms of like Geneva. Shops close at 6 and closed on Sundays, and
Oh, really?
it's not.
That's kind of similar to here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you used to have that. The shops used to be closed on Sundays.
I
and
don't
stuff
understand it, but they do it.
Yeah, it's still the case in
Is it
Geneva.
because of like Christian?
Yeah,
like,
it's. I think it's the
Day of rest.
It's
Yeah.
nothing like that in Italy, but even if
Yeah.
you have like the Pope.
Yeah, that's true.
You know.
But then I take you to Zurich. And on the second day, I think we'd have to go, like presuming that you're coming in the right time of year, but we'd go to the mountains. We'd go skiing because you just have to see it. You just have to see the Swiss Alps are beautiful.
Can we make a snowman?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Let's
That's
make like
easy.
10 snowmen.
Easy. We get a chalet. You'd have to experience this because obviously, like the stereotypical idea of the Swiss is like this little, wooden hut
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
mountains
In the country.
Just
with
go
a
in.
fireplace,
Yeah.
and they do exist. They cost a hell of a lot of money to stay in those because
Yeah.
obviously, now they've got an image and it's a shame. But yeah, it's great to experience and you'd have to go skiing in Switzerland. And even if you can't ski, it's fine. I'll just Just pretend you do. Just go onto the
Just go
slope,
in.
say you were there.
Give it a try.
You have to do.
48 hours.
Yeah, exactly. It's fine.
Right.
Do we mention what we're having for dinner, Anya?
Ooh,
Oh.
for dinner.
Yeah.
Right.
Dinner.
Dinner, the most important thing.
Okay. Wait. Trying to think. I'd say the fondue would go for dinner, so I'm trying to think for lunch.
Okay,
What
lunch.
we do for lunch instead. Okay, this is difficult because, like I told you, Switzerland has so little culture, and that
Yeah.
includes food. So we don't have a very good culinary identity. I'd say for lunch we'd if we're in Geneva, I'd take you to a restaurant by the lake, and with a terrace, and you can like sit and overlook the water, which is beautiful. And a lot of restaurants serve something called filet de perche and chips, which is filet de perche, a little like tiny sardine-sized fish that are particularly unique to our lake, that you can't find them really anywhere else.
Okay.
And they're basically, it's like posh fish and chips, right? They take them and they fry them, but they're like really nice and
Yeah.
soft, and they serve them with loads of lemon and parsley sauce, and it's really good. So I'd say that for lunch, and then fondue for dinner.
Wow.
And then chocolate, for dessert at every meal.
Of
That's
course,
that's
yeah.
just an
Chocolate
obvious
everywhere.
one. Exactly. So yeah.
Next question.
Next question.
Yeah, I reckon we've got time for one more.
All right, we'll get the silly questions.
This is the new ones. Alrighty. This is two things that I personally have had quite a passion for in the past month or so. Number one is food eating competitions.
We're just talking about food today, aren't we?
Food eating competitions. Oh, could you bring up the food? Is
Which one though?
That one in the UK about the cheese rolling thing.
No, this is actual eating. So
Oh, actual
a
eating?
man consumes. Okay, so there's
John the
actual.
Donut one.
No. This is the actual competitions.
Oh.
The challenges are next. So these are
The hot dog guy.
competitions that are put on in different nations
Yeah.
to eat different foods. Why is
This
this
one?
Kurt Cobain vegan?
I thought
Nathan's hot dog eating competition. This one.
There's an actual company. You know how there's UFC?
Yeah.
There's
yeah.
that, but for I should have done research. Okay, we'll just do this anyway. So anywho, yes. So what are your thoughts on that?
National Hot Dog Eating Contest.
National,
Sure,
yeah.
mine
So hot dog
says
eating
it.
contest. So a man eats.
How many
The
was
record is 74, I
That's
think it
ridiculous,
said.
like-
Yeah.
In how long?
What's the point of doing that?
Making
What's
yourself
the point?
physically
Wait,
sick.
so the top
That's
one's
my
up.
first question. Like,
It's right there. Yeah, so the men's champion ate 74 hot dogs in the 2018
why
contest.
should you eat 74 hot dogs?
Was it in
Joey
hours?
Chestnut. This is the man. This is the man, the myth, the legend. I'm not joking. This man has
Check this
done
man out.
so
Show the
many
picture.
accomplishments that the world is not aware
You're
of.
just gonna have to like twist it.
Let's find out his.
12 minutes and he ate.
He beat 6-time defending. So he beat a dude by consuming 66 hot dogs in 12 minutes.
No. The
Oh,
previous
July
record.
4th.
No, that
Why
was the
should you
previous.
do that?
The record is 74 or something
In how long?
in 12 minutes.
Why
Yeah.
should you do that? Like,
Anyway, that's like.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm not totally for that. I'm not totally in favour. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, I wouldn't do
So
that.
This man has eaten 47 sandwiches in 10 minutes.
Oh, it's grilled cheese sandwiches.
Grilled cheese sandwiches in 47 in 10 minutes.
Yeah, I wouldn't consider that something to be proud of.
Yeah.
Okay,
Why should you eat?
Oh
Think
wait,
about it.
70 hot
Ronan's
dogs
passionate
in
about
10
this. Wait a
minutes.
second.
you eat one grilled sandwich, as
Yeah.
I'm sure we all have,
Mhm.
and you
Yeah.
think, oh yeah, I could go for another.
Yeah.
And you eat
Yeah.
a second one. And
And
then
then by
round
that
about the
time you're
second
full.
one, you're like, oh, I don't really want another one.
Yeah.
But then even eating a third or fourth or fifth or sixth or seventh or eighth or ninth or 10th is far too much.
He's
It's a
pushing his
waste of
body.
food.
He's pushing
At
himself.
10 is our limit.
And it's
as-
not healthy.
It's
And
not
it's a waste
healthy.
of food.
At
so
all.
why
It's
would
not
you
healthy.
do it?
Boxing isn't healthy. That'll
Yeah.
give you brain damage at the age of 40.
I don't think this is
Well,
quite
but
the same as boxing.
It is though. This is the new
I mean,
age of
technically.
competition.
I don't think he is.
It is pushing the extent of our brain and our willpower. This man ate how many chicken wings? 182 chicken wings in 30 minutes.
Whoa,
Yeah, I'm not sure if I can share your fascination on this topic.
Yeah.
But
Like I love your
I
enthusiasm,
think 41
but I'm
hard-boiled
just
eggs.
kind of
I'm
don't
with
think
you
He
it's
ate
on
good.
that.
141
What's the
boiled
point of
eggs
doing
in
that?
8 minutes. Joey Chestnut, everybody.
Alright, what's the point in it, Ronan? Because
yeah, like
Yeah.
they want to
My
know.
What are you
question
trying
is,
to
what's
tell
the
us?
point of
It's like,
doing
I
that?
can eat a lot of food.
To push your limits. Okay, I get
Is
that.
that
It's
just
mental.
Self-
It's all mental.
it's
It's just pushing
it is
your
mental.
how many boiled eggs can you eat?
Boil eggs.
I've
Well,
never
that's-
tried, you know.
I
would
don't
say-
even like boiled eggs, but around 10,
I'd say
probably
10.
start giving up
Yeah.
and maybe even
You're
throwing up at
feeling
around
sick.
12. But he ate 141 boiled eggs in 8 minutes. What else do we
How
have?
does it even work? How can you
he ate
140
14
eggs
pounds
inside
of
yourself?
pork rib
I
Yeah.
don't know. Training,
how-
I guess.
20
You have to,
kilos of
train your
It
body
just
to
says-
do it.
Painful.
at an eating competition.
He ate 121 Twinkies in 6 minutes.
I
It
would
took
be
me
sick.
I just
15
don't
minutes
get
to eat 3.
Yeah.
Those things are very fattening, and he ate 121. This man is a beast at consuming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's more American,
Yeah,
less
I
Europe.
just don't get it.
So
Yeah.
like,
You just said it.
you know.
Ask this
He's
to
a
an
beast
American
at consuming.
and see
Is
what he
that a
says.
good thing?
It's
So
incredible.
what's the more challenging
I
part
don't
here?
think it
Your body doing it or your mind?
It's your
doing
mind.
it?
It's all your mind. So when you
Well-
eat that and you think, I can't have a single bite, I'll throw up, you have to overcome that.
Well,
Train
after
to
70 hot
overcome
dogs,
that.
I think you're
Like a man who does
Yeah.
deep sea diving.
Yeah.
So, for instance, when you do
Yeah,
deep
but
sea diving, it's the
that's
exact
not
same thing,
mental.
Jojo.
But that's-
that is
No,
mental.
it's not
Well,
It is
I know, like,
mental.
But
It's
that's
about
actually-
how long
Nick
you
does
can
deep
hold
I'm
sea
okay
diving.
with you because
Do you-
I do free dive,
Yep.
Yeah.
and it's like a lot mental. Like
So you would agree with the notion that our brains, we can hold our breath for a lot longer.
yeah,
But our
surely.
brains
You
just
need
start
to
to
get
freak
like
out
used
with
to
the
it
lack of
and
oxygen.
train.
Yeah, but you also
that.
have to train, so it's not only mental.
Yeah, obviously.
Well,
it's
I would say,
increased
like-
lung capacity.
60% is mental, and the other 40 is like
Exactly.
physical.
So at least you can somewhat agree
Yeah,
that consuming
But you can't
121
com-
Twinkies
Yeah,
in
but
a day
still,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh,
your
no,
stomach.
that's so high.
is your stomach
Full
of which
up.
you need to increase lung capacity, you need to increase stomach capacity.
Yeah, you can sort of compare those two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fair enough.
That's
We'll
a very
go on to the next
yeah,
session because otherwise I'm just
American
going to keep
thing
going.
do.
I
Alright.
looked at Oktoberfest eating competitions, and you know who I see?
Who?
Jojo.
Joey Chestnut.
Joey Chestnut. What did he
Yeah.
do? How did he dominate the German scene?
He ate
Joey Chestnut.
65 and a half bratwursts in 10 minutes.
Bratwurst. Mm.
Okay, well, there are very, like there are a lot of different sizes of.
This will probably be the biggest
breakfast.
one. Knowing Joey Chestnut and his accomplishments, he probably consumed the biggest ones there.
Oh
And he ate 0.5 of it. 65.5. He's going to come back for that 0.5 and reach 70.
All right, moving on.
Alright,
Can we like
alright,
move on?
fine.
Okay, alright, alright.
You know
we should
when
move
you know how
on.
they have Hero Day? I'm going to dress up as Joey
Oh,
Chestnut.
jeez.
Okay, we'll move on to. Should I do? I actually found some challenges, like food eating challenges, that are put on by different companies.
You guys want to talk about something else, or do you want to?
in Perth?
Nah, sure, let's
Okay.
go ahead.
So do you
Yep,
know?
go for it.
Do you know where Claremont is, right?
Yes.
Do you guys want to come down to Outback Jack and eat a 1.2 kilogram steak, wedges, and veggies in under 30 minutes?
Well,
I
that
could,
was
I could eat a
veggie, I'm
steak
sorry.
probably.
The 1.2 kilograms?
She's
Yeah,
a
if
That
I'm really
actually,
hungry.
actually no, that was Northbridge.
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
Excuse.
If I'm really hungry, I could do that because
Yeah.
I usually have like.
Okay, what about this? Because this is in Canning Vale, at another Outback Jack, I think. 750 gram steak, fish, calamari, chips, and sides in under an hour, and you get your whole meal.
How
half
much
price.
was that?
It's 1.6 kilos total.
He's considering it.
Nick's seriously
Nick's
considering
like,
it.
Because the calamari, like,
The hottest thing would be the wedges, 100%. That potato would fill you up instantly.
yeah,
Calamari,
the steak probably
Leave
would be
those for
fine.
the end.
you would get through that easy.
He's really passionate about this stuff.
The steak for me wouldn't be a problem.
One more.
But I
Oh,
think
I have one more,
Okay,
which
go
is
on,
in
give it.
Singleton, which I don't know. You guys don't know where that is.
No.
No,
I
what
don't
is
even know where it was. It's past Mandurah.
Yeah.
Alright.
They sell a donut
nah,
that weighs 3 kilos.
I hate
Jeez.
donuts, so I
Oh
would
my
throw
God.
up
You have to
after
finish
one.
it under 30 minutes. Apparently, out of around 200 who have attempted, only 2 have ever done it.
I just don't get the point of sort of
It's-
I could throw up after one.
I'd be
donut.
sick.
I hate them.
I'd be sick.
Exactly. She would, be sick.
Yes.
Yeah.
But out of
Yes,
those
you would.
2
What's the
people were
point
not
then?
sick. They rose above the rest of that 200 who
Well,
attempted.
you
That's
know,
fantastic.
They ate
These two people
They-
were just super fat.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they use that to their,
Good
just how
advantage.
some
Well,
people
everyone
are
is
better
good
at
to
running
just, like,
through the
Some
yes,
people are better at
something
eating
else.
donuts.
because of
Yeah,
their
now you
genetics
get
and
that.
because
Yeah,
of their
yeah.
mental state.
Maybe the hole was very Nah, just weight remains. 3 kilos too
3
much.
kilos is
No,
not
it's like,
Too much
it's like a
to
straight line donut.
Oh,
It's
no,
even worse.
okay.
There's 1.5 each. Thethere's 2.
Oh my God.
Jeez.
Nah,
Nah.
not for me.
Okay, no.
Not
Okay,
for
so
me.
we're not
No.
doing that on the weekend. I have one more. I talked to Jojo about it, I'm pretty sure, before, but
Wait,
this
what?
is the new emerging sport coming out
Oh
of
my
Russia.
God, when
I don't
heard
know if
this.
you guys have heard about
Oh
this,
yeah,
but
what
this
is
is
What's this?
this was they held the first or that's the Russian one. No, it's
Yeah, Siberia.
Siberia. The Siberian Power Man show, where they held slapping competitions. Slapping competitions. What are your... Okay, so to visualize this, there is a desk which is risen up, so they're both standing.
Yeah.
So they're standing, and as
They
on
have a
both
desk
sides-
in the middle.
And they just have to slap
and-
each other over the desk.
Yeah. It
That's-
is, in my opinion, the manliest sport that we as a human race have ever created.
Is that all in
so
the
they
mind
stand
as well?
like that, like with their hands on the desk, and you sit there and you wait for it, and then the guys wax you across the face.
And first person to like.
To
Flinch?
either
Chicken
concede
out
or yeah.
Okay.
You can, step back, but if you do it too much, you get disqualified. The rules aren't, solidified yet. It's still a very new and
It's a
emerging
young
sport.
Still
It's a young
fresh and
sport.
emerging.
But genuinely, I
Ah.
think it's the newest thing coming
Nah.
on.
Ah.
I could see this in Australia.
I could see this in Australia
This
too.
could be
Yeah,
bigger
this
than
could
the
be in
grand
Australia.
final.
Probably not
The
in
World
Europe.
Cup.
Cannot see this being big in Switzerland.
Yeah,
but I
same
can see
here.
it
This
being
could
big
be
in
big in
Australia.
Switzerland.
Yeah, no, I
Nah.
doubt that.
Probably not.
really doubt that.
This could be. This could be the new thing. It's gonna, come from the east and it's gonna overrush the west. In 20 years' time, when you're looking onto the news and you're gonna see Power Man slapping competitions with the Russians dominating, of course.
You know what? I would never say
A-
never.
Massive Russian man
Russians
slapping,
each other.
not punching, not kicking, not taekwondoing, but slapping a massive German dude.
German
Who
will
wouldn't
get
pay to
really
see that?
angry.
I would pay to see that.
I would pay that, to be honest.
Yeah, that. By the way, dude, this guy who won is of course Siberian, and his name's like Ulumreski or whatever, but his
Russian name.
nickname is the Dumpling.
The dump.
He knocked out a man
Yeah,
by
exactly.
slapping him.
This is
Well,
why
if it's
this
strong
would
enough.
not go well, because
Still.
the
It's like
end of the
throwing a
game,
punch.
the winner is gonna, like the loser is gonna end up in some state.
But you're
that's,
not meant to lose.
Yeah,
you don't
well,
go
yeah.
in with the
Yeah,
thought
but
mindset.
That's
of
true,
losing.
but there is inevitably a loser if it's gonna end,
You're
man.
just gonna make sure it's not you. You have to be the bigger man. You have to take the hit.
I don't
You
think
gotta,
you're picking up what
you gotta
Andy's putting
bash
down.
up the hit.
You're getting
His
my
name is
drift.
Komotsky.
Komotsky, that's this man, this Goliath, this... Oh, I've broken it.
Yeah, it's
I haven't broken
Oh.
it. It's gonna
Oh
get
man,
Can you not
there. This unit,
can you?
look
the
like
world
muscular?
representative of the new emerging sport of slapping.
Yeah.
Could you imagine being slapped by such a
Nodded.
beast of a thing?
just gonna bask in his glory for a
He
moment.
was
Unus-
made to slap.
Wait, his
wouldn't
name
do
is
that.
Unus Aladdin.
No,
No,
that's
it's-
the guy.
That's the guy with the article.
Say his name's Aladdin. Okay.
Are you
no.
guys excited?
Nah.
Yeah, nah,
No?
nah,
No.
sorry.
I wouldn't do
Ryan,
that.
Don't share your enthusiasm.
David, are you excited?
I'm excited, yeah.
Nathan?
I'm kind of excited.
We're excited.
Okay.
Yeah,
Australian-
it's gonna come here in
Australian
Australia
crew,
then.
the Australian crew's excited.
The
Okay.
Australian market
Yeah.
is
Not
ready.
European
Yeah.
one.
Okay.
Okay.
Alright.
What are we at?
Are we gonna skip this and just go straight to that? We've,
Oh,
How-
what
how are we
time
doing
we
for
at?
time?
we've definitely hit time.
I reckon
Okay.
just keep going because this is. Yeah.
I have pretty much. We did that. We've done that. We've done that. I pretty much have one more big question for Jojo.
For me.
Yeah.
Just right.
And that was going to be about beer,
Oh,
but not in the sense of whether
yeah,
or
I
not
can
you
help you
drink
with
it.
that.
I can
But
help
I
you
want to
with
know
this.
more about, because obviously when you look to Germany and their society,
Yeah.
beer is a big factor of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Germany is the third largest country to consume beer at 104.4 per capita.
Oh, you looked
The
that up.
world's largest is Czech Republic at 124.4, and second is the Seychelles Islands, but that's mainly because they only have a population of 95,000, and also were previously owned by Germany, so probably to that influence. But I mean, technically, Germany is consuming less beer. But I want to know, what effect does this have on a regular German person? Is there a bit of influence to drink beer?
Well, till not long ago, beer was not considered an alcoholic beverage by law, but a food. That's an interesting fact.
Wow.
Yeah, I reckon beer is just a very cultural thing to do. And as I said before, when you have food, you just have a beer with it. That's a very common thing to do. People just love their beer. I love my beer, but
How young do you start drinking beer in Germany?
well, I can't say anything
With your
wrong.
family, but with your family, what?
You would try beer
Yeah.
as a kid when
Same
you're
for me,
10,
wine
12.
and beer.
But like the legal drinking age or
Yeah.
the legal age to buy beer is 16 years old. So I
Okay.
don't
16,
recommend
that's
It's the
quite
same,
young
it's the
before
same in
that.
Switzerland, yeah.
Wow.
Initially,
But I mean,
should be
does it have
18.
any
Yeah.
negative impacts? Because, drink driving
Well,
or other...
At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you drink beer or wine or like vodka or whatever. Like, I don't think like if you look up stats or whatever that the drink driving rate in Germany is higher than in any other country.
We actually looked at... I think,
Yeah, I'm checking it.
Because we have quite
from
strict
what I
laws on
know,
that.
I think drink driving is actually a bigger problem in the USA, even though they consume around half the amount. Of
Yeah,
German.
like
There's harsh fines. as
Also,
well.
Yeah, 'cause
I'd
maybe
say
I
that
think-
if beer is part of your culture,
yeah, because
It
maybe this
absolutely
this
is.
thing of like starting to drinking beer when you're younger,
yeah, like
That's true.
you don't get drunk.
You're more
Yeah.
Like,
educated on the
yeah.
matter. You know how to drink
Maybe-
properly.
Like in here in Australia, you turn 18 and you just start drinking beer, whatever, vodka, and you get completely smashed.
Yeah.
It's like a different thing.
Yeah.
For us, it's just not to
Yeah,
get
I-
drunk, just like drinking beers.
unless you're a teenager at a party, you just don't simply drink beer to get drunk. You drink
Yeah.
beer because you like it, and you
That's
do
what I
it
was
with
saying,
your
yeah.
family, with your friends. Like you have it with a meal. You just like the
Yeah.
like the effect of beer isn't just getting drunk. It's a very social thing to do, and like a
Yeah.
very cultural thing. So
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it's the same for us.
That's the
like
same.
having good beer. Well,
I'd say
eating
even
a
more so
pizza.
for Jojo, yeah. But
one
we
of the
go.
best thing.
We're allowed to, because obviously it's 16. The legal age is 16, so we can. I'd say on the weekends, on a Friday night, at the end of the week, we have a like a bar near our school. It's like a cafe. It's like a restaurant in the day, cafe kind of thing, and in the evening, it has a terrace. And a lot of my friends and I go home after school and come back into the city, and we go to this place, and we all get a beer. And, it's just like, and not long ago. Yeah, I think they're starting to change the rules, but technically the legal age for wine as well is 16. So you could just get a glass of wine or beer and just sit around the table with your mates, and it's just like that's your Friday night. Not everybody to get smashed. You're in public.
Like
You're
a nice social,
yeah.
pleasant thing.
Yeah,
exactly, and it's
absolutely.
not at all
Same
considered.
for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just cultural.
It's the
I
thing
think.
you like to do,
It's a
not to
social
get
thing.
drunk.
So yeah, they're different. But obviously that doesn't mean that we don't drink beers at parties. If you
Yeah, of course.
people do drink
We
beers
do.
at parties,
Yeah.
but then you go, exactly. It's different. It's a different. I think it depends on the context, but when you're in public, it's a very cultural thing. So it's out in the open, so you don't kind of abuse it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Do you have any more questions?
You just
I'm
have
running
second
out of
fun
time.
What's the music like in your countries? Do you
Whoa.
listen to Do you listen to English
when you're
based
16.
music?
On the
or-
radio, you have the hits of
Yeah,
like,
Yeah.
American.
yeah, on the radio
That's
you have a lot
everything.
of English music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have the American,
Despacito.
top hits. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Despacito. Oh my gosh.
It was
I hate
number
that
one
song.
for
Yeah,
for
What's
a while.
gang?
That's
not-
still going. You can still go to Europe
Yeah.
and hear that on the radio, especially in the summer. Oh man, I'm not ready to
It's
get
a-
home, and we're gonna hear that all
It's
summer.
not
again. I
a
can
bad
feel it.
song for anyone who doesn't understand Spanish. But if you do understand it, it makes you want to not.
It's a bad song, even
It's
not
regardless,
understanding. Yeah,
it's a
I'm
bad
sorry,
song.
but
It's
so I
not
think
bad. We just listen to it too much, I
Yes.
reckon.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Plus,
It's a pretty bad.
It's
That's
just
true.
it just has been played too
Listening
much.
over it,
yeah.
Yeah, it's
you
very
get bored. to
But
listen to it,
we
yeah.
we do have I know you listen to some German rap and
Yeah.
some German songs. Same for me, French.
Yeah, same
And
for
same
me.
for
A lot
you
of
in
Italian
Italian.
music, yeah.
I'd just say over here you've got obviously everything's in English,
Pretty much,
so you've
yeah.
got
No.
different.
Like in radios in Italy, actually, I would say, a good half of the music is
We
Italian.
get Italian songs in Geneva.
Of course.
I know that
Yeah.
we get Italian songs, and
We
we get
don't.
we get Spanish. Obviously, in the summer they
Yeah,
get
yeah.
all these Latino hits and stuff.
Yeah.
So you get a lot of that. But there is quite a lot of pop, mostly pop.
Yeah.
You know.
Get your Ariana Grandes.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes,
all that
Big
makes it
English
good.
music hits.
Exactly.
probably-
How about rock music, man? Is it Italian
Rock music?
German rock?
Yeah, yeah.
Isn't
there's
heavy metal
that.
kind of big in Germany?
Have you ever heard of Rammstein?
Yes.
Rammstein? Yeah, they are German. So we have quite a big rock scene. Not something I necessarily like. So I don't really listen to rock. As Anja said, I quite like German rap. So I'd say I listen to 50% English music, 50% German. Yeah, but we do have a big rock scene, yes.
We don't, not so much.
Where we
I
have
would say.
all different kinds of music.
Yeah.
You can have rock, you can have rap, you can have pop music, whatever.
Opera.
We have pop rock kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I'm more
Yeah.
dancey stuff. That's a bit of a blend. Bit of a mix.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say that. Yeah, all different kinds of music.
Lovely.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Roman has one final question for you.
Okay, so we're
We
gonna
do
wrap
this with
it up
every
here.
podcast we do. So
Yeah.
Okay, so one final question is a little bit, emotional and distressful, but if you could be any component of an aircraft, what aircraft component would you be, and why?
Aircraft?
Aircraft, yeah.
Like a plane.
like an airplane.
That's an airplane, or it could be a biplane, or it could be a,
a
747.
component, so like not
Any
an actual
component.
a
person.
component.
Yeah.
I'd be the pilot. Does that
I
count?
think it's
Like,
more like a
Well, it's
power,
not-
like
nah,
the
nah,
machine.
that's like
Yeah,
an
yeah.
actual object part of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I've never thought about this.
Yeah.
To be honest.
I-
Yeah.
Just thinking about it,
This
I could be
stumps a
maybe
lot of people.
like a wing.
It could be
Yeah, I'd be a
certain
wing.
seat
But which
or a
wing
window
exactly?
or-
Left,
But
right?
it would be cold.
No,
out
I'd be
there.
the pilot's seat. If I can't be the pilot, then I'll be the pilot's seat
Fair
because you're
enough.
at the front and you get to
Yeah, you're
see that,
just
get to
cruising.
see things. Yeah,
Alright.
definitely.
Okay,
the
pilot
Maybe
Right,
also
right.
maybe also
If
the
you wanna get-
engine. I don't know.
The engine, yeah.
Yeah,
That's a big
It's
part.
pretty
though.
important.
Yeah.
It's important.
you know.
Yeah, I'd maybe be the window at the very, very front because I could like see everything, so I could see
Cockpit
outside and inside, and I
True.
could see what all the pilots
You'll
are
be like
doing.
the-
and,
True.
yeah,
The
so
cockpit window.
True.
so I'd be like
Yeah,
in the
that's a
middle
good
of
point.
what's happening,
Yep.
but I could still be outside and see everything. Yeah, so I'd be the very front window.
Good question, Ronan. Good
Yeah.
question.
Very good
Yeah.
question.
Did you answer?
I would probably
The
say the
engine.
engine.
Engine. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Alright, is this like a biplane engine with the engines at the front, or is it like?
No, I would say like
turbines?
turbines. You know,
Alright, which would there be the left turbine or the
probably
right?
the left one. I would say,
Why the
but it
left
depends.
But there could be two engines.
Yeah, it could be like a 3-engine planes, 4-engine planes.
Are
You
we,
know.
but which one are you? Are you the 4-engine on the left,
not like-
closest to the body?
There's some planes that have 3 engines, and
Yep.
there's one on the back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've seen this. Yeah.
Well,
That-
I have
man,
to
that's
check-
that's a good one.
Which one are you?
I wouldn't know actually.
You right-handed or left-handed?
I'm right-handed.
Go for the right.
Three-engine
I'd say
planes
go
are
for the
actually
right.
So cool.
Yeah. So you going for the right?
I mean, the right's pretty generic though. Go for the left.
Yeah, I would have got the left one, the left engine. Yeah.
All right. Left engine.
Left
with a
engine.
3-engine plane. Precisely.
Yep. Nice.
Cool.
Those are all firsts.
All right.
Okay, that just about wraps
That's
it up.
That's
Okay.
been enough for us podcast. Thank you for listening. and
Thank
yeah.
you.
And
Thank
you
you.
for coming on, guys.
Thank
for
you.
having us.
Thanks for
Thank you.
having
Thank
us.
you.
All right.
Good night.
See ya.
And